Hi game programmer. This tutorial will teach you how to use mouse input to click on a box and make it change color. You can use a mouse to navigate a menu or aim a projectile. With some added code, you could even click and drag an item. First, we'll need our variables. The first variable we're going to create is a mouse state variable. This is very similar to the idea of a gamepad state. It records the state of a mouse. We are going to click on an image, so we'll need a texture 2D and a rectangle. We'll call it pick, and a rectangle. We'll call it pick rec. And when we click on the image, in this case it's going to be a box, we want the color to change. So let's create a color, call it pick color, and set it to color.white at the beginning. Go ahead and pause and type in these variables. Great. Well, let's go ahead and run this and see what we get. I want you to notice something. Notice how the mouse disappears when it enters the game window and then reappears when it exits the game window. The next thing we're going to do is make the mouse visible. Let's go down to the initialize method, and here we'll set the game property is mouse visible value to true. So the game class has this property called is mouse visible, and if we set it to true, I'll press F5, and now we see the mouse in the game window. Excellent. Now let's also initialize the location and size of our box. So pick rec is equal to new rectangle, and we'll go 100, 100, 100, 100. Alright, well the next thing we want to do is add the box image to our content pipeline, to our content folder. So we're going to view the Solution Explorer, right click on content, add existing item, and here I've already placed the box picture in the mouse demo content folder. You can find it in the resources folder for the lesson or the course appendix. There's my box. Let's go ahead and load the box picture and load content. Remember, you do not need the file extension when you're referring to the name of the image. Great, let's go to the update method. Start with the mouse state, and just like gamepad state, we're going to ask the mouse class, and we're going to say get state. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to see if the rectangle that holds our image, the pick, if that rectangle contains the X and Y value of the mouse. So if pick rec, and we're going to use a method called contains, and the contains method receives a point object from the point structure. So to create this point, we'll go new point, and we're going to give it the X and Y value of the mouse. So we say mouse state dot x comma mouse state dot y, and that gets wrapped up inside a point structure. And so what this means, if this is true, that means that the mouse is the tip of the mouse, of the pointer for the mouse, is intersecting with the rectangle. But we also want to see if the mouse's left button is pressed. So just like a button being pressed, we're going to ask if the mouse state dot left button is equal button state dot pressed. All right. Now if all that's true, we're going to change the pick color to red. If that's not true, meaning it's not the mouse is not on top of the box and the left button is not being pressed, we want the pick color to stay as white. Lastly, we need to draw the box. We don't need to draw the mouse because XNA handles that with the isMouseVisible property. You can change the mouse pick if you want by drawing an image of your own at the mouse's X and Y. So let's go down to the draw method, open that up, tell the sprite batch to begin, and we're also going to tell the sprite batch to go ahead and draw something for us. We're going to draw the pick in the pick rec with a pick color. And let's tell the sprite batch to end. Let's press F5 and see what we get. Here's my mouse. Here I am intersecting with the box, and now I press the left button and it turns red. Then I let it go, it goes back to white. If I click over here, nothing happens. I have to click on the box and it turns red. Now isn't that cool? So there you go. Carry on, game programmer.